Hello, my Grimling.
Oh, and with all this, I thought I was in the wrong place. I bid you well.
Hey Grimlings! So today we are going to talk about The Lords of Salem. Rob Zombie's The Lords of Salem was released in September 2012. Zombie wrote, directed, and was one of the producers of the movie. The other producers were Jason Blum, Andy Gold, Oren Pelly, and Steve Schneider. As always, I will have like a subtitle or a little doodad telling you who these people are, or at least giving their names. Because God knows I can't pronounce people's names. At least not without having heard them before. Anyway, the music was done by John Five, and cinematography was done by Brandon Trost. The novelization of the movie, which varies quite a bit from it, and supposedly follows more closely to Zombie's original script, was released in March of 2013. And I'll be doing a separate video for the book next, so I'm not going to get into it here. The film stars Rob Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, as Adelaide Hawthorne. Adelaide is a recovering drug addict and a DJ at the local hard rock station in Salem, Massachusetts, where she works and now lives under the name of Heidi LaRock. It's while she's at work that she receives a strange record by The Lords, which, when played, has a strange effect on the women of Salem, bringing up specters from the dark side of Salem's history. So, let's get down to coffin nails and talk about the movie. Now, some people consider this Rob Zombie's finest movie to date. Certainly, it's his most cinematically refined movie, at least of the ones that I've seen. Personally, I enjoyed House of a Thousand Corpses more, probably because it's a straight blood and guts horror movie, which is a bit more my thing. The Lords of Salem is definitely an art house film, complete with bizarre visuals and more than one Whiskey Tango Foxtrot moment. I mean, if this film doesn't make you uncomfortable or confuse you at least once, especially if, like me, you are currently a Christian or have a Christian background, you probably aren't watching the same movie. Yeah. If it doesn't make you uncomfortable, I don't think you're watching the right one. There's basically two main stories going on at the same time in this movie, and they collide at the end in a glorious and bizarre climax that just defies all description. I mean, Acid Dream might come close, but that's still a big maybe. It's kind of like a really weird, warped version of Monty Python. Like that level of, you know, the cutscenes in the Monty Python with the little animation, that level of bizarre. Of course, the primary story focuses on and revolves around Heidi and the strange things that go on around her. But there's also a second story, sort of the backing story, the background to everything, which revolves around a woman named Margaret Morgan and her coven of devil-worshipping witches who live in Salem during the late 1600s. And of course it shows their eventual torture and execution on the orders of Reverend John Hawthorne, one of Heidi's ancestors. This movie is hugely impressive to me for a multitude of reasons. I absolutely love how these strange things keep happening around Heidi, and she doesn't even notice most of them. You know, like you'll see a person, and I mean not like a shadowy figure, like you'll literally see a person just standing on her kitchen counter, and she doesn't notice it. The dog doesn't notice it. It's just like that weird, you know, any other horror movie, that would be the jump scare, you know, she'd turn around and see this creepy thing, and they don't do that here, and I really did like that. The thing that gets Heidi, leaves her scrambling for some sort of purchase, leaves her desperate for a fix, leaves her just feeling like everything is completely spiraling out of control, is not the obviously supernatural things happening, because she keeps missing those. It's the things going on inside her head. These things are part of the legacy of Morgan's Coven, just as much as the bizarre supernatural things that we, the audience, sees but that Heidi misses. However, because they occur in her head as visions, as dreams, as strange trances and half-heard voices, Heidi views them as being something of her own twisted mind's creation. As the movie progresses, you kind of see Heidi just fall apart before she finds out what's really going on. And when she does, she's basically standing on the tracks watching as the train collides with her. It's too late for her to fight it because she's already fallen apart. She doesn't have the energy to fight back. The question also exists, does she want to? Does she really want to fight back against this? Again, going back to that symbolic, heavy symbolism and of the art house vibe, you feel like on a deeper level, she doesn't want to fight this. Like, she's conflicted because she has people, one in particular, who she'd be leaving behind and who she cares deeply about and doesn't want hurt. Now, I'm not a huge art house horror fan. I like straight up blood and guts horror, like House of a Thousand Corpses and Let Us Pray. I like the action-packed horror movies like Poltergeist. I like to get straight into the movie, straight into the action, and ride through to the end. This movie is really good though, and I did enjoy it. For all that it is a very stylistic art house piece, it's not a slow movie. I mean, it's not like Rosemary's Baby. I've never actually finished Rosemary's Baby because it's just so slow that the art house vibe combined with how slow it is and that art house vibe with the heavy symbolism and all, that movie is just dead on arrival for me, and I don't know if I'm ever going to finish it. I do want to. I kind of feel like, you know, I'm trying to work my way through all the mainstream horror movies that everyone has heard of at least once. You know, we've all heard of the Friday the 13th franchise. We've all heard of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, so I do plan on watching all of those as well. We've all heard of Poltergeist, so I've watched the original Poltergeist. We've all heard of The Exorcist, and I've watched The Exorcist probably more than any other horror movie I've ever seen. I even watched Carrie, which, again, is a god-awfully slow movie. The thing is, for all that The Lords of Salem is definitely an art house film, like Rosemary's Baby, it's not slow. it is not by any means a slow movie. There's a lot going on here. There's everything that's going on with Heidi. There's this side story about an author who realizes that something weird is happening and tries to figure out what it is. There's the landlady and her sisters, and something really strange about them, which is resolved about 2/3 of the way into the movie. There's the story about Morgan and her coven in the late 1600s, and a couple other, kind of not stories, but little things going on, and it all melds into a fairly cohesive, albeit very strange movie. What I really love is how solid of an actress, how solid of a performance Sheri Moon Zombie gives. When I first heard that Rob Zombie features his wife in all of his movies, I was a little worried. But she totally has the skills for this, and props to her. I mean, like, major props. There are definitely some scenes in this movie that, with a lesser actress, would completely have just flopped and just, I mean, it would have brought the whole movie down on top of them. And she pulled them off beautifully. So, kudos to Rob and Sheri Moon Zombie for pulling this off. I mean, just definitely a major, major win on their parts. But yeah, I mean, this movie is a truly insane watch, and it will make you uncomfortable at times. It will leave you confused. And if you allow it to, if you let it, it might just become one of your favorites. There is a lot of symbolism, a lot of thematics, a lot of intensity. So don't say I didn't warn you. Rob Zombie's The Lords of Salem. Check it out. It's definitely worth the watch. So, like and subscribe. I post videos every Wednesday. Feel free to leave suggestions for videos in the comment section below. I do movie and book reviews, unboxings, hauls, DIYs, and more, So, until next time, creep it real, gremlins. Creep it real.
Tell him I was more than just a great set of boobs. I was also an incredible pair of legs.